Hi, I'm Valerie Engelhardt, and this video is about finding a few minutes in your busy day to paint. Just make some marks with a brush, and let's try to make a flower with it. So, I don't have time to squeeze out new paint, so I just grabbed a palette. I don't usually paint watercolor with a flat brush, so that's what I'm going to do today, is a 3/4 inch flat brush, Mimic. Now, when I use a flat brush, I like to use it to carve out space. But right now, we're just gonna get to know our brush. So I'm gonna grab just some paint, and let's see if I can make a line with just the tip of the edge. All right, now I'm gonna do it straight down. Try making a line that way. That line was actually much smoother and finer. So see, now I'm kind of already learning how I wanna use this brush. Let's drag it like this. We're getting some good dry brush. I'm gonna load up on more water and pigment, and let's see. What if I push down but go from the side? Okay. How about I stay upright, and I'm gonna go light, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy. And when I say that, I mean the pressure of the brush. Light pressure, barely touches. Heavy pressure, I'm pushing down. Let's do it like this. So light pressure, heavy pressure, light pressure, heavy pressure, light pressure, heavy pressure. Now we can see that it unloaded almost all of its pigment up here. But because it still had a lot of water in the brush, that pigment is starting to move. So we are not only seeing what kind of marks we can make, but how it distributes and releases pigment and water. Let's see. What little marks can we make? Dot. Oh, it looks like a nice fence. What about if I just want little dots? That's pretty nice. What if I want to make a leaf? I do a lot of florals and leaves. What kind of leaf can I get? I like how that turns out. Oh, what about a circle? Can we just put it flat on its tip and rotate it? What does that look like? What if I try painting a circle? It looks like it handles pretty well. Okay. So now that I'm feeling a bit familiar, or more familiar with how this brush handles, let's put our mark making to the side, grab another piece of paper, and why don't we do a calla lily? Because it's just one large flower and we've got one large brush. So let's see, how do I want to do this? I kind of want, and also because it's such a wide brush, let's see what happens if I do a little bit of color on this side and a little bit of color on this side. And let's see, they have where you see them on the inside. Now, there's not a ton of pigment there because the flower's white, but we need to have a little bit of color. So I want this to be delicate. I'm using light values or more water than pigment. And I'm okay with the center being a little stronger in color because that's where some shadows would be. But also this is just a nice loose exercise. I don't even remember which side had what color, so I'm just gonna dab in again. And let's see, grab some water, I think, and maybe like this. I see it's missing its cute little curly tail. So I'm gonna grab some yellow. I'm gonna let it connect to that inner part and kind of give it that little curly tail it has out, and I want it to bleed in with that center. Okay, I'm gonna grab a little more of the pink, a little more water, and these petals fold in on themselves, like that. Okay. Rinse my brush. I'm gonna grab my green. And one thing I see is that I'm looking at a calla lily off screen. The green of the stem does kind of mesh into the bottom of the petals, which is great. So I'm gonna start down here actually, and I'm gonna bring it up and let it fuse. That looks nice. Now, I don't see it in any of my pictures, but I do remember that there's like what's that called? Like a piston? Something? That little bit inside the flower. And that usually has the strongest value. So I'm gonna grab that yellow, and this is very strong. I left a dry space here. So I'm just going to paint that in. Like that. I've got a couple minutes. Unfortunately, this is very wet, which on one hand is great. We'll get these lovely blooms. On the other hand, I can't really put in a lot of detail, but maybe I can. This petal is folding over, and we can't really tell that right now, so I'm gonna grab my pink in a nice, strong value. I'm gonna dab the excess moisture on my paper towel, so now it's really neat pigment of a very thick consistency. And I'm gonna try and illustrate the fold of the petal. And I'm gonna bring that up so it doesn't have such an abrupt stop. And there we go, in less than 10 minutes, we spent some time playing with a new brush, or at least one that's not used very often for me, and that is the 3/4 inch flat brush. It's a soft synthetic. We got to practice our mark making and seeing how it disperses the water and the pigment, and practiced making a flower. And here is a lovely, loose calla lily that we painted in just a few minutes. So I hope you found this exercise helpful. If there's anything that you want to see from me, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up so I know to make more like it. And if you want to see more, subscribe, because I post videos every Monday and Thursday. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!